Yes, my name is Ahmed Shabazz. I'm also known as Clarence M. Hines, but I am a citizen of the Lost Foundation of Islam under the leadership and teachings of the Honorable Shabazz Muhammad. I'm speaking on today violation of my rights, which also includes human rights through this United States judicial system. I have evidence that can show and prove the violation of my rights and the mistreatment of my person. I would like everyone to know that as a citizen of the Lost Foundation of Islam and Afro-descendant of former slaves, that I have rights, and we all who are descendants of Afro-descendants of former slaves have rights and international rights as well. And the United States is still and has violated our rights. And me personally, I have, as you will see later in this in this tape, that I have evidence to show and prove that my rights have been violated and the mistreatment of my person, as well as what goes on and continuously going on here in the United States through this judicial system and this government. I initially filed the lawsuit in Houston, Harris County, in the United States federal courts for the Southern District of Texas. That lawsuit was ordered and transferred and ordered by the judge, Melinda Harmon here, U.S. District Judge here in Houston, Texas, or the Southern District of Texas, and it was transferred to the Eastern District of Texas in Tyler, Texas. Now, once it was received there, the judge, a magistrate judge, was assigned and ordered that there was an evidentiary hearing to be held on the 16th of October 2007, which did occur. At that time, during the questioning and the process of the hearing, while I was on the witness stand before a federal judge, it was alleged that I was in violation of probation, a 10-year probation, which I challenged, I argued and challenged against, and requested that some proof of evidence of me being in violation of an agreed term of a 10-year probation be presented, and it was never presented. During the evidentiary hearing, as ordered by the judge, evidence, or any proof, and any evidence that they had, Smith County had, in regards to their defense of my alleged allegation that my rights were violated, were to be submitted with the court. At the time when I was being questioned, I requested that some proof be presented, and it was never presented, and it was never in the evidence filed. There was no agreement ever, and I stated that within the federal courts on the witness stand, and there were some documents that were left out. The judge later, the magistrate judge later entered a recommendation on or about the 16th of April, recommending that the case be dismissed. However, the judge never responded to some motion for sanctions that I filed on the 30th of October 2007, immediately after the evidentiary hearing, where I challenged the fact that I was being accused of being on probation, and they used the evidentiary hearing to try to convict me or have me arrested for in violation of some
alleged 10-year probation, which later you'll see through documents that there was never an agreed term of 10-year probation or any probation at all. Never agreed of or assigned by myself. Now, the federal courts, the magistrate judge, to enter a dismissal recommendation. The U.S. District Court judge for the Eastern District of Tyler, Texas, issued a dismissal on or about the 22nd of May 2008. I filed a motion for reconsideration, and that motion for reconsideration was denied by the federal judge, Leonard Davis. I later filed a motion for appeal, and the motion for appeal was being considered, and you see, I did not receive an answer for that until the 14th, about the 14th of August 2009. Now, during that time of the appeal, I was arrested on or about the 9th of March 2009, which that was prior to the right after the appeal had been filed, and before the answer was issued by the United States Fifth Circuit. Like I said, I was arrested on the 9th of March 2009 on an illegal arrest warrant pertaining to the invalid probation, which I was alleged to have been in violation of during the evidentiary hearing. Like I said earlier, you will see some documents that show and prove the fact that there never did exist a valid probation. There never was valid probation. The case itself was dismissed back on the 12th of May 2005 due to the fact that my due process rights were violated when I appeared before the judge. That was all brought out, and the case was dismissed. So there was no time up from then up until my being arrested on the 9th of March 2009, where I was arrested or anything associated with that case came up. Now, the warrant issued for my arrest was issued, as I stated earlier, after March the 9th. I mean, well, not after March the 9th, excuse me. It was issued after all the legal process that took place from 2007 of filing the lawsuit until I was arrested in 2009, which the arrest warrant was the invalid arrest warrant was signed and dated on the 16th of September 2005. Now mind you, that was 4 years before I was arrested. It also was 2 years before the evidentiary hearing. Then it was 2 years after the evidentiary hearing, or nearly 2 years after. After all said and done, my rights were violated, and the court system, the judicial system, showing proof through the judicial system that there was collusion and a total disregard and disrespect of my rights and the constitutional rights of the United States government. My rights, as I alleged initially, were violated through the failure of due process, and it later led to, or ended up being a violation of my rights totally when I was arrested for an invalid arrest warrant. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, this case is, involves me being arrested. And I was arrested on the 12th of February 2005 here in Houston, Texas, and was transported later to Tyler, Texas, where they had a warrant for my arrest coming out of Tyler, Texas. I was held from the 12th of February 2005 and didn't appear in court until the 12th of May 2005. That was my first appearance, first arraignment, or anything in regards to me being arrested, in which I was arrested for a violation of a court order, alleged court order. In the process, or through all that, my due process rights were violated, and I was not released from that situation until the 19th of May 2005. Afterwards, I filed a lawsuit, which was filed on or about the 30th of April 2007, within the time limit of statute of limitations. Now, after the lawsuit was filed, which was pertaining to the violation of my due process rights, as well as the mistreatment and violation of my human rights that I encountered during the time that I was incarcerated in Smith County, Tyler, Texas. At that time, like I said, my rights were violated, and I filed a lawsuit.